Oh, there is.
Anything under 18. If you are under
That's
18,
exactly what a child.
Are extenuating circumstances, of course, but at that age, you are starting to become independent. You are no longer just in your parents' household a kid. You are now going off into the world on your own.
You do admit that that varies for most people, right? A lot of people don't move out of their parents' homes until they're 25, 26, 27. A lot of people don't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
A lot of people graduate high school 16. A lot of people graduate high school 20. It's a huge variable. So to set that in stone is that.
I agree. If you debate this, you already lost.
This is when you're a kid and this is you're an adult. That doesn't apply to most people. So why would you define a kid and an adult if it doesn't apply to most people?
Love from the Netherlands.
Because it needs to be defined. Otherwise, you can get into this really gray area where you, like a lot of the things you say, can be misconstrued as you wanting to have sex with a 15, 16-year-old.
Who construed that?
A lot of people, because I mean,
I don't think
in your
anybody
clips
thinks
that
that.
I played in the video, you were
no
saying like the age of maturity, the age of development, and then you use 16 and 17 in that clip.
So
like, for the age of marriage.
The definition of an adult is 18 years old.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fine establishment right there. Anything under 18 would classify as a kid. I think that's important.
Okay, but you're getting that from what? From personal experience, from the government, from the law? Because that's legally in America, that's when you become an adult, correct?
Yeah, legally.
So you're following the government's definition.
I mean, there's also quite a bit of
XQC have a.
there's also quite a bit of science behind it.
Of an adult.
I think there needs to be a definition, and that one's been around for a long time, and I think that's the one most people accept as the closest to, like, yeah, this is when you become an adult.
It actually hasn't, right? 200 years ago in the 1800s in America, the age of marriage...
Yeah, we can't live like that. We're so much more advanced than that. Why would we play by those rules? Because at that point, are you going to start arguing that we should be able to start wedding 12-year-olds? Like, is 12 too young?
That's not the point. I'm saying, you're saying that the U.S. defined adult as 18. Well, I'm saying 200 years ago, the age of marriage in America was 10, and the UK was 7. Right?
Why is the standard that we apply 200 years ago?
So if the government decides to change it, you're saying it's 18. If the government, maybe if Kamala Harris gets elected, then the new legal age of an adult is 25. And there could be reasons to say that. They graduated college, they don't leave the house until this age. Their brains don't develop until they're 25. Your frontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. A lot of people aren't making serious money. They're not able to live independently. A lot of things that you could use to classify an adult don't happen for the new age American until 25 years old. So if Kamala Harris...
He's not right low key. I think it's a point that people agreed upon, that it's developed enough. So,
raised it to 25.
It's
would
developed.
You then say that that's the
enough.
new age? Would you agree with
that's
that?
Why there's science behind it.
I think that'd be totally understandable. Like,
Right.
I think
So
that's
does
fine.
that? So then does that make?
If you,
So then does that make anybody who sleeps with an under 25-year-old? Does that now make them a pedophile?
No, I don't think necessarily that makes them a retroactive pedophile.
So then what's a pedophile?
But it's an accepted definition of 18 for a long time. Is
Not for that long.
Upon.
Not for that long, and not through most states.
Even though there is, maybe what you're saying is right, that they stopped doing the science behind it after 25 or whatever the fuck, right? I think there's significant stuff that shows a decline after like 27 or 28. I think.
And not through most countries across the world.
Do you see why this is like a weird take to have though? Like I don't think you're coming at this from a place of
some studies
a 15-year-old, are you? Like to go back to that question, is 12 too young? Do you think 12 is too young?
I think 12 is too young for me. Yes.
Well, for you, do you think 12 is too young in general? I feel like that should be an easy answer.
12 is too young in general, correct. Because,
okay.
Yes.
And I don't think
I want to
define.
But what you're saying, your definition of adult, is not even the.
Imagine if you didn't call him out on saying in general or whatever, right? This is for him, which means that it's still being rationalized in his head. Which I think
the actual definition. Do you know what the definition of child is? Like anybody watching this can Google it. You can Google it too. The definition of child is somebody who has not reached puberty yet. That's the definition.
Yeah, and then you get into like the abibophile or whatever. As
now, where does he lose it?
And those are all.
I don't know. I have no idea what those terms are. I don't know what that is, but I'm saying that's the actual definition. When somebody reaches maturity, it's based off of biological and physical maturity.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it varies for everybody. Adulthood is not something that you can set in stone because it's different for the entire world. I moved out when I was 14. A lot of people don't move out until they're 25. I went through puberty when I was 17. A lot of people went through puberty when they were 13, 14, 15. It changes for everybody. So for you to say that this is the set in stone age and say you're a pedophile if it's under 18, and then if you're over 18, you're fine. Well, then that's a weird line that doesn't make sense. So you're going to say this.
It's not just physical, biological, mental, mostly mental, if anything. Mental, yes.
Person is a terrible person if they're 17 years old, 364 days, and right after that they're good to go. Well, it changes for everybody. So we have to have something, a definition. We have to be realistic with everybody. Well, we don't. But you're saying but that's not even.
We need an actual black and white point so we don't get SNEAKOs. That's the thing. We don't want to be able to say, well, I think this, well, I think that, well, my opinion is that, no, there's no opinion. It's black and white here, just so that we don't have this type of shit. That's what it is. That's how that works.
We live in.
That's simple.
Why argue against it? If you don't want the age of consent to be lowered, why are you making arguments that the same people who do make? Right now, what you're saying is kind of what NAMBLA used to say, if you're familiar with NAMBLA.
I have no idea what this is.
NAMBLA was the North American Man-Boy Lover Association. They
right,
were
because these people don't want they want to have sex to take advantage, and they don't abide by the rules of marriage. They don't have any sort of morality. They just want to have. I'm arguing for this because I believe in marriage. Sex should only be within wedlock. That's why I'm talking about this.
Why, if you're arguing, we can take sex out of it. Why, when you're arguing for marriage, do you want it to drop? Like, okay, 16.
When did I say? Just because I don't believe in the age of consent does not mean that I want it to drop. Like, see, that's where the internet can go apply that. Just because I'm saying.
Well, no.
No. Because you're saying the definition of an adult is 18. I'm saying that's an arbitrary number and that makes no sense. We should encourage marriage when people reach maturity. That makes much more logical sense.
That's even more vague, though. But also, you directly.
It's vague because it's different for everybody.
When someone can legally drive, they should be able to legally marry. You did say that to me.
Right. When somebody is legally ready to drive, the same thing. I think adults should drive cars.
Okay, there are children that are better at driving cars than adults that lived and have driven their entire life. Okay, so that point of that you choose. Oh, guys, yeah, I mean, if you're ready to drive, if you're ready to do this, okay. There's people that are like 8 years old that are probably better than people that are like 7 years old that have driven the entire life. That's what it is.
That's why I told you that.
The point is that that doesn't work. That's not a good point. It's not a good example or framework for this. You're just stupid.
Yeah, but 15 and 16-year-olds can drive cars.
It's a better analogy.
You said when someone can legally drive.
Across the world, 15 and 16-year-olds can have sex too. I think that people should not operate. But see, you keep thinking that I'm saying this because I want the age to be lowered. That's not what I'm talking about at all.
That's what it comes across as, though. When you
maybe with the internet brain, because people in the West, they want to have sex all the time and they have a different sort of mindset. Right here in the Middle East, I'm in the Middle East right now. They want to get married and then have sex. So people, just because I'm saying this does not mean automatically lower. No. That's not the case at all. I want to ask you then, because you're insinuating that it sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
It is an adult who is attracted.
Never argue semantics on that topic. You're just gonna look stupid because it's always gonna be. Well, technically, that's not what that is. That's attracted to children. That's it. And then there's a bunch of it's not the correct word. Is it? Whatever, dude. Like whatever.
Attracted to children.
It comes from the Greek word pedo means child and phile.
It's pretty much a buzzword.
Somebody who loves a child.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
An adult who is attracted to a child.
To a child, somebody who has not reached physical maturity.
Yes.
That's the definition of child. Somebody who hasn't reached physical maturity. It has nothing to do with 18. The definition of the word talks about physical maturity, not the U.S. government definition that you're basing it off of.
What?
But there needs to be an agreed upon place. Otherwise, you get into this area. Again, you said when you can legally drive, you should be able to legally marry.
Right.
Guys, we don't have to talk about
people
sex.
are brain dead.
Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? I would imagine probably not.
It depends. So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe like that. Consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father, right? If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married. That's the Islamic way. That's the only way that makes sense.
Wait.
the case at all. I want to ask you then, because you're insinuating that it sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
Hold on.
Agreed upon place. Otherwise, about sex. Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? I would imagine probably not.
It depends. So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe like that. Consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father.
Wait, no, it's not weird to talk about. It's necessary. It's needed to talk about. What is this guy talking about? Dude, consent is that's the main point. It's the age at which you can consent, and then that all the semantics are very important around that.
Right. If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married. That's the Islamic way. That's the only way that makes sense. This American way of this girl wants to have sex now, she gave consent, and then you get all these false allegations like, oh, she was drunk.
And you don't see a problem with that?
Oh, she took it back. Oh, she retracted consent. All this stuff, like there's not even a specific way that we can define consent. What is consent? Some people say it's yes. Some people say it's like nonverbal communication. Some people say that it doesn't count because she was under the influence or she was intimidated. Even this is an arbitrary, is a weird way to define when you're allowed to be in a relationship with somebody.
You're kind of talking around it, though. Those are all very different things. Like I said, we don't have to be talking about sex. I was talking about marriage. The question was, do you think, and you said when you are legally able to drive, you should be able to legally marry. Do you think it is okay for an adult to legally marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
Okay, well, by my logic, if the man is physically mature, if he's went through puberty and he's mentally ready at the age of 16, he's an adult. If he wants to get married to another girl who becomes a woman...
I just said an adult. Is it okay for an adult
right, and I established, but we haven't even established exactly what an adult. So if some
this is Brandon, they haven't established X and they want to know Y, and they have an equivalent of X and Y, and they don't have either of the values, so it's irrelevant. This is Brandon.
Somebody goes through puberty and they're physically ready, they're biologically ready, they're an adult. So they could the two 16-year-olds can be considered adults by my logic.
We're not.
When does he get cooked? Yeah. He's not getting cooked. He's just not.
You can just type it in right now, but so do gamblers. So does every. Okay.
You know what's forbidden in Islam?
Well, I know.
Gambling. Yeah, I get it.
You know what's also. Of course I have. I've drank before too, and I've had sex out of wedlock. Exactly. Does that make me perfect? No. Islam is perfect, but we are not perfect. This is why we need rules. Alcohol, same thing. It harms you. That's why we ban it. Sex out of wedlock, it harms you. That's why we ban it. Cutting your dick.
Wait. It harms you how?
To them, that is irreversible. That is harm. Harm is almost.
So do gamblers. So does every. Okay.
I pride myself in the fact that I rejected a $20 million gambling deal. I got a call.
That never happened, by the way.
And they said, do you want to gamble for a year? And I said, no, I can't do this because my religion says this is wrong. You need to have something that's consistent. The same reason my religion says you cannot become a woman, you cannot cut a kid's penis off, I'm going to say no to that. You need to be consistent with your idea of harm because this is factually true. Trans people have the highest suicide rate. They're some of the most oppressed people. They're constantly in therapy. After 7
Chad, you can throw numbers like that. Oh, guys, they offered me this or that. But without saying like what the terms of the deal were, I have to tell you one. I'll put my hands over fire and say that that's a flat out lie. He never got offered that much money, ever. There's probably no proof, nothing. He just said, "Oh, he was on a call, whatever." Dude, even if he streamed 20 hours a day out of 24, the entire year, they still wouldn't give him 20 mil. He's just yapping.
7 years, the dopamine wears off and they get depressed again. They want to change. The amount of people that want to detransition is huge. These people are set up for failure. It's essentially death. It's harming them.
Is Derek ready?
So why is it okay for...
Chat, I have something to do with Derek. Is he ready or not? Hold on. It says, want to use Discord. Yes.
XQCL.
For a doctor to set somebody up like that? Why is it okay for a doctor to harm a child?
It is, again, I didn't know you did that. I think that's a very admirable position to take on gambling. So I appreciate you sharing that.
You're against gambling?
I've never heard you do that before. Huh?
I've yapped about this. Like my community makes fun of me for talking about it too much. It was like a meme about how much I talk about it. That's why.
I had no idea.
Okay, you don't do it either?
What?
You don't promote gambling or anything?
No, man.
This guy's not against gambling. What is he talking about?
Do you drink?
I just started drinking again occasionally.
Occasionally, right? But you wouldn't encourage it.
No, I don't. I don't want people to go out and do bad things. I'm not perfect though, so
He
I
is
do
not
drink.
anti-gambling. What are you
And
talking
I play
about?
poker with friends occasionally, but
Yeah, with small amounts
To
of
your
money,
question-
you're not a gambling addict.
How is he? How is he? How's he anti-gambling? Brother, he hounds around the tables and plays at the fucking Red Rock. What are you talking about?
Addict.
no. But
What are you talking about? You guys
big
are
thing
running.
that I've
So, but yeah,
always
that's
seen
but
from
that's
you
really
is-
good, bro. This is why I took this call because I see, and this is why I don't hate. Like some people think I hate you and I don't. Like I see like there's a good person, bro. But the trans stuff, like this is actually harming people, and this is why I was right so long ago.
Oh, he doesn't promote it. Oh, okay. I thought this was about the idea of like some morality or some religion thing, or whatever the fuck. So basically, religion is what you say, but not what you do, basically. So what we're saying is that to be religious means that you say, guys, I went and prayed and I went and did this, but you actually didn't go and pray. It's all about the things that you say, not the things that you do, right?
What's even worse than
According
Chris,
to you
like,
guys.
messaging 13-year-old boys and being addicted to porn and all this stuff is encouraging people to do this, to follow suit. It's wrong. It's only been right for 10 years. We can't change human history and say that this new idea of kids taking
Okay, so you know
HRT and permanent damage to their body is okay. We can't change morality like that fast. That damages society. Even Mr. Beast, like a guy that you like a lot, and you know, I think even then I don't hate him. I think
Yo.
he's a good person.
Yo, brother, you ready?
What's good, man? You ready?
Yeah. Did you tell what we were doing today? You want to tell them?
Yeah. You want me to say it out loud?
Ready? Today, guys, on all streams and everyone who's listening, we are playing the wonderful brand new game of Marvel Rivals with the brand new character Thor out and ready to go. We are about to storm the quick play scene and catch a dub, shawty. Shall we get started?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not trying to be toxic, but that was really bad.